Penguin Random House Audio presents The Book of Hygge, The Danish Art of Contentment, Comfort, and Connection by Louisa Thomsen Brits. Read for you by Mai Guest. Definition: Hygge, pronounced hygge, is a quality of presence and an experience of belonging and togetherness. It is a feeling of being warm, safe, comforted, and sheltered. Hygge is an experience of selfhood and communion with people and places that anchors and affirms us, gives us courage and consolation. To hygge is to invite intimacy and connection. It's a feeling of engagement and relatedness, of belonging to the moment and to each other. Hygge is a sense of abundance and contentment. Hygge is about being, not having. Note from the author. Hygge is a feeling that most of us know but can't quite define. To give a name to an experience is to pay attention to it. Hygge can describe feelings that are already familiar to you. It is there in the rhythm of your daily life, in your habits, routines, and rituals. You don't need Danish recipes or the secrets of a Scandinavian lifestyle to learn how to hygge. It can be found in asking yourself where you feel most at home. What are the activities and customs that anchor you? Who makes you feel at ease? What is it that contributes most to your sense of well-being? What do you do to unwind? What do you reach for to create comfort? For me, hygge exists in moments of contentment, particularly at the beginning and end of the day. We hygge first thing in the morning, when we light a candle at our breakfast table, make coffee, pancakes, and packed lunches, and when we'd return home to each other to share a cup of tea or a glass of wine, to sit around the kitchen table together and enjoy our evening meal. I invite hygge by lighting fires almost every day, inside or out, by spending time with the people I love and enjoying time alone. Hygge is held in the ritual of the bedtime stories that I have read for the past 23 years, in birthday celebrations and the enchantment of Christmas Eve. I hygge when I make risotto, make love, make tea, or read in bed. I find it at the heart of the dance floor, when I walk through our local town, camp at small festivals, or meet a friend for coffee. It lives in my father's study, in my mother's garden, around the table in my aunt's quiet apartments in Aarhus, on the veranda under a wide African sky with my husband's family. Hygge arrives when all 4 children come home and we sit by a fire under the oak trees in the garden, play cards, beachcomb, dance in the kitchen, or curl up under blankets to watch a film together. I hope that I can translate hygge from a very Danish word to the universal language that it is, and that in listening to this audiobook, you will discover the hygge that already exists in your life and become attuned to its presence. Introduction. It's marvelous to be. One should never be anything else. Mogens Lorentzen. The word hygge has been sifted to the surface in recent years, but the concept is not new. It is a practice as old as sitting around a fire or sharing food with a friend. Words emerge from culture, history, topography, and place. They're formed by time and habit, and are passed from one generation to the next through stories, ritual, and values. Hygge helps us to communicate what it's like to be human. It is part of a global vocabulary that speaks to our humanity and addresses our basic human need to belong. It's an old word for a new language that we are beginning to explore in order to share values common to us all. Happiness is like a butterfly. The more you chase it, the more it will elude you. But if you turn your attention to other things, it will come and sit softly on your shoulder. Anonymous. The Danes, considered to be among the happiest people in the world, have enjoyed hygge for hundreds of years. Denmark's high standard of living, decent health care, gender equality, accessible education, and equitable distribution of wealth all contribute to the measurable happiness of the Danish people. But a determined pursuit of happiness doesn't necessarily lead to well-being. At the heart of Danish life, and at the core of hoo-gah, is the deeper stability of contentment. When we are content, our daily actions are infused with a quiet satisfaction that we share with those around us. We become aware of and responsible for other people's well-being, and they, in turn, for ours. Hygge captures a way of being with other people, caring for them and ourselves. In our overstretched, complex lives, hygge is an uncomplicated daily practice that engages us, keeping us attuned to our surroundings and open to empathy and wonder. Hygge is part of the language of human action and interaction all over the world. To hygge is a universal impetus revealed in the small rituals, gestures, and daily experiences that unite and define us all. We all hygge, gathered around a table for a shared meal or beside a fire on a dark night, when we sit in the corner of our local cafe or wrap ourselves in a blanket at the end of a day on the beach, lying like spoons, baking in a warm kitchen, bathing by candlelight, being alone in bed with a hot water bottle and a good book. These are all ways to hygge. Hygge draws meaning from the fabric of ordinary living. It's a way of acknowledging the sacred in the secular, of giving something ordinary a special context, spirit, and warmth, and taking time to make it extraordinary. Most men pursue pleasure with such breathless haste that they hurry past it. Søren Kierkegaard. Hygge happens when we commit to the pleasure of the present moment in its simplicity. It's there in the things we do that give everyday life value and meaning, that comfort us, make us feel at home, rooted and generous. At a time of global instability, we have become distanced from each other and the environment. We have lost the immediacy, comfort, and truthfulness of the literal and actual, and need to find alternative ways to consume and connect. Hygge describes a way of being that introduces humanity and warmth into our homes, schools, workplaces, cities, and nations. Hygge stems from a society that is focused on people rather than things. It is linked to the language of love and to the idea that real wealth is not what we can accumulate, but what we have to share. History. Hygge has been a practice and an icon of the Danish nation for many years. It is one of the everyday words that tells the story of the backdrop to Danish life. The word stems from the Old Norse word hu, meaning thought, mind, courage. The Old Norse form hygge, aligned with Old English huggen, and Old High German huggen, means to think. Hygge was borrowed from the Norwegians in the late 19th or early 20th century. In Middle Danish, the word hygge means to console or encourage. What is Danish in Denmark is so obvious to the foreigner there. Hygge, coziness, tryghed, security, and trivsel, well-being, are the three graces of Danish culture and socialization. Jonathan M. Schwartz. Danes are good at appreciating the small things in life and at making the best of whatever they have. They place emphasis on the inner sphere of people, places, and things. Modern Denmark emerged from the gradual dissolution of the large historical Danish empire that once stretched from Greenland to Iceland, over Norway, southern Sweden, northern Germany, and present-day Denmark, to the islands of the Baltic. But after being forced to cede a large portion of its territory, including the dramatic mountainous landscape of Norway in the 19th century, the Danes began to identify with smallness and with interior landscape. The military failure of the old empire was subsequently not mourned as an outward loss, but celebrated as an inward gain. Danes didn't just make do with the gentler forms of lowlands and many small islands. They came to idealize them. They looked inside for identity and placed significance on inner space as a reality in its own right. The new Denmark's national identity was shaped by the Enlightenment, and particularly by the teachings of Nikolai Frederik Severin Grundtvig, 1783 to 1872, and his project of folkeoplysning, inclusive popular enlightenment. He embraced the Enlightenment values associated with personal freedom, was inspired by ancient Norse mythology, and was a
Sample complete. Ready to continue?